Jamie, at least a dozen interceptions by the Iron Dome air defence system over central Israel and Tel Aviv in the past couple of hours. No immediate reports of injuries. We're being told the Iron Dome system managed to intercept them all, but it does reveal 76 days into this war that Hamas does still possess the capability to fire off those salvos of rockets. Of course, this coming, as you say, both sides negotiating in recent days around the possibility of a ceasefire or humanitarian pause. Certainly from the Israeli side, they are open to the idea because they are very eager to try and get those 120 or so hostages home, pressure building on Benjamin Netanyahu to do that. But we are just hearing, as a result of those talks in Egypt, that we are still at a stalemate. Hamas has actually put out a statement in the past hour or so saying that there will be no talks over exchange of prisoners or captives except after a full cessation of aggression by the IDF. Now, of course, we know that Benjamin Netanyahu has spoken about this very idea of Israel pulling back completely from its operation in Gaza. He said it's effectively a non-starter and that anyone who thinks it'll happen is, quote, detached from reality. So I think it will be another anxious night for those families here in Israel, with no immediate progress publicly seen on the hostage negotiation and ceasefire front. But we do know that negotiations are still at least being had and discussed by some of those intermediaries, including Egypt and Qatar.
The United Nations Security Council could vote on a resolution to increase aid into Gaza after many delays. What are the concerns on the Israeli side about this draft text?
Yeah, a could vote, I think, being the operative phrase there, Jamie. As you say, this has now been delayed 3 times. Some hope that it may get up today, but we'll just have to wait and see. The main sticking point, really, from what we're being told, is the Americans. They have got some concerns around the text, and in particular, it's around the delivery of aid, echoing concerns by Israel. The draft resolution, from what we have been told, calls for an immediate surge of humanitarian aid into Gaza and, crucially, for the UN to take over the inspection of that aid as it goes into the besieged Strip. Currently, the inspection is being done by the Israelis, and they say they want to retain that oversight in order to prevent weapons being shipped into Gaza or smuggled in within the aid. Now, we don't know whether they'll be able to get an agreement at the UN to have the Israelis relinquish that oversight and give it to the UN, but we certainly know that there's been some concern amongst regional players here that by having Israel have that oversight right, it effectively is giving a party to this conflict the potential to slow down aid as part of its war goals or operations against Hamas. Now, they haven't responded publicly to those claims, and they would probably largely dismiss them, I would say, but it just shows how the intricate nature of that language is holding up the very resolution. And, of course, if they can't get the Americans on board, then the whole thing will just sink, because they do, of course, retain a veto right as a permanent member of the UN Security Council.